The purpose of this sprint review is to discuss the user stories completed during Sprint 2 and our overall project progress. During Sprint 2, we planned on completing 3 user stories: manage household account, manage organization, and manage affiliation. Our first user story was manage household account. The first of the acceptance criteria was to create a new household account. This is done by selecting the Household Accounts tab and hitting New. As you can see, the household name formal, greeting formal, and household ID are all required fields, and so a household account can't be created without these fields being filled in. Next, we wanted to be able to update a household account. This is done by selecting the drop-down arrow next to a household name and hitting Edit. Next, we wanted to be able to delete a household account if necessary. This is done by selecting the drop-down arrow next to a household name and hitting Delete. Next, we wanted the household table to be populated with attributes finalized by the product owner. As you can see, the household table is populated by the following attributes: household name, affiliation, primary contact, household name formal, greeting formal, and household ID. Finally, we wanted to be able to add or assign constituents to the household account. This is done by going to the Constituents tab and selecting a user to add to a household. We can edit this user and assign it to an affiliation that will add it to the household. So based on this acceptance criteria, we decided that the manage household account user story was complete. The next user story was manage organization. The first acceptance criteria was to create a new organization. This is done by selecting the Organizations tab and hitting New. The organization name, org ID, and org name are all required fields, meaning that the organization can't be created unless these fields are populated. Next, we wanted to be able to update an existing organization. This is done by selecting the drop-down arrow next to an organization's name and hitting Edit. Next, we wanted to be able to delete an organization if need be. This is done by selecting the drop-down arrow next to an organization name and selecting Delete. Next, we wanted to be able to add or assign constituents to an organization. This is done by going to the Constituents tab and selecting a user to add to an organization. We can edit the user and assign it to an organization through an affiliation. Finally, each organization should have a designated primary contact from the constituents table. So as you can see, primary contact is a required field for the organization table. So every organization is required to have a primary contact that is already an existing constituent. So based on this user acceptance criteria, we decided that the manage organization user story was complete. Our final user story was manage affiliation. The first acceptance criteria was to create an affiliation role for every constituent assigned to a household. So as you can see, every constituent that is assigned to a household also has an affiliation role, for example, father. Next, we needed to create affiliation roles for every constituent assigned to organizations. So, as you can see, constituents assigned to organizations have affiliation roles such as student. Finally, we wanted to be able to track the status for each organization affiliation. We chose current and former, and as you can see, every organization affiliation has a status indicating its former or current status. So based on this acceptance criteria, we determined that the manage affiliation user story was complete. And because all 3 of our user stories were completed 100%, we are on task to complete the project in a timely manner, and we feel that our progress is going very well, and we expect that the next sprint should be completed likewise. Thank you.